Welcome, everybody. If you're watching this, well, the recording of it, hi, but live, appreciate you all showing up. Today we're talking about what? Speaker demo, right? Real quick introductions. Why don't we do just maybe your name, where you're living geographically, where you're sitting, just so we can kind of connect, get to know each other a little bit. Who wants to start? And then pass it on to somebody else. How about that? Steve, why don't you kick us off? I saw your hand go up.
Sure. Yes, I am Steve Karski. I am in Huntersville today. Jesse.
Hi, Jesse LaCosta. I am in Chapel Hill today.
Chuck Gallagher.
I'm Colin Ryan.
Go ahead.
I'm Colin Ryan. I'm in RTP.
And I am Chuck Gallagher. I'm in Greenville, South Carolina.
And I am Jane Herlong, and I am in Dillard's buying a pair of shoes.
Great,
I'm
Jane.
I'm Larissa West. I live in Durham.
Brandon Berkmeyer in Raleigh, and I was finishing a bag of chips. That's why the camera was off.
Marcy Rader, Raleigh. I will have my video off because I am eating lunch.
And is that everybody? Sean, whereabouts are you? Did you forgive me if you did not say something a second ago?
Yes, I am Sean, and I am in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Great. Good. Is that everybody?
Sean, I met Sean at our annual event in Charlotte. He attended that. Yeah.
My friend, nice to see you again. I'm sorry, I am in transit right now, so I am going to keep the camera off.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And folks, my name's Kevin. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. So, hey, today is all about us. What questions you got? What's on your mind? I do, today, these SIG meetings, special interest groups, are for folks working on a specific element in their business. These aren't workshops. They're more mastermind around a project, what we're all working on. So I did want to kind of give us a little bit of structure to say, hey, this is kind of where we can take this plane today. Number one, we'll talk a little bit about and share ideas. Why is demo so important? We've definitely got some experts like Chuck in the house to help us with that. He does a lot of demo work. What are some of the elements that go into a good speaker demo? Think about putting yourself like as a meeting planner. You're an executive, or you're a bureau. You have options on what type of speaker you're going to select. So how does the speaker stand out? And demo video is part of that, right? Well, then how do we actually create good demo? We'll share, for any of us that want to share, a link to our video, or we can even, if we have time, we can watch a quick sample of a video or two. And then what are some resources that we can take advantage of? If you're somebody working on a new demo video or a demo, then obviously there's resources out there that can help you. And this might surprise some of you, but I'm really passionate about demo video because I feel, just from my experience, this has been a game changer for me. Every time I've worked, every 3 to 4 years when I've done a new demo, it's like the universe was waiting for me to deliver something. And normally, if not all the time, whenever I ask when I've been hired, say, what was it about me, if you don't mind sharing? And because many times they're comparing speakers, right? So how do they pick the one? And I hear over and over, your demo. Your website was good, but it was really your demo that the planning committee or that whoever, we thought, wow, that's really what we're looking to to bring in. So not only is demo part of the business, I think it can really differentiate us as speakers. So in the chat, if you don't mind, let's kind of do a pulse real quick before we kind of do some sharing. Where are you at in this phase of your demo? Type in the chat if you don't mind. Put a 1 if you are proud of what you got and you're here to help. You're here to support others and even learn, right? Number 2, put a 2 in there if, hey, you've got a demo, but maybe it was pre-pandemic. or maybe it needs a revamp. That's number 2. And then number 3 would be, I need one. I don't have one. And hey, look, whatever number you put in there is fine, right? Whatever number you put in is fine. So let's see kind of where we're at. So we got some 2s in the house. Yeah. And all right, good. I'm actually gonna put a 1 for me, because I just did one. So I feel really good about it. But it's nice to see that all of us, including myself, we still have some work to do. Okay. Now,
Hey, Kevin, I'm going to say 1 because I'm not plugging Chuck, but I am. Chuck just helped me with mine and he is incredible.
yep, Chuck, absolutely. Congrats, Jane. Great to hear that, and for you and for sharing Chuck as a resource. So look, folks, what questions you got? Is there any specific question? I didn't see any on the registration page, but if you've got a question, post it in the chat. We can choose your own adventure here and kind of let folks see, where they're kind of at. Chuck, do you want to maybe share a few thoughts to kick us off?
Yeah, sure, I will. I think there's a couple of things related to demos. I'm going to make this kind of a quick fire hose and then see where it goes. Yeah, I'm old, got a lot of gray hair. It used to be demo videos where, 12 to 15 minutes. It was on VHS, then it went to DVD. It kind of got to 10 minutes. It might have gone to 8 minutes. It was like, see me speak, see me speak, see me speak, see me speak. There was no theme. It was just watch me speak. And it's gotten to the place for 2 reasons, but it's gotten to the place now where the typical demo video, number 1, it will get watched 31 seconds. So if you can't get past 31 seconds, you get disqualified. Okay, that's the first thing. I'm just going to tell you that on the front end. Secondly, it doesn't need to go much beyond 3 minutes because, respectfully said, the pandemic changed the meeting professional world. And so a lot of them, and especially in the associations, were gone because the associations just were changed. Think of NSA and think of the leadership of NSA pre-pandemic and where it is now. And we had a building and we don't have a building and everything's all over the country. Just think of that because that's reality. And the average meeting professional that will be looking at your video is typically 28 to 35 years old, skewing female. And I say this, and this is very respectful. Don't anybody assume that I'm making any judgment here, but they are more apt to be watching shorts, Facebook reels, Instagram reels, and TikTok videos. So the main thing is it needs to be visually stimulating quick and get to the point of what problem you solve. Because if you can't identify quickly the problem you solve, they will go to the next video. Now, I'll shut up at that. That's probably enough fire hose.
Chuck, do you have a sample of a strong hook opening that you've done with the speaker? Maybe it's Jane's, or maybe you have one, or maybe if you can find one, I would love to see that. Like, post a link in the chat or something.
Let me see if I can. Y'all keep talking a minute. Let me see if I can pull up some that'll show quickly or easily. Okay.
And I'd be happy to share mine too, because what I just did was something my video editor kind of pushed back on. It's like, well, we've never really done it that way before, and I was like, that's exactly why we're going to do it. Yep. So I did a kind of a quick introduction collage. Please welcome Kevin Snyder. Please welcome Kevin Snyder. Please welcome. So, and then boom, then I come up on stage. And even they, to Chuck's point, that first grab, and that's what I was going for. And the end result, even my editor was like, wow, I'm going to use this as a example for other speakers. but I had a lot of B-roll for them to play with. That was the key. I had B-roll. I had extra footage from different events for them to weave all that in.
Hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can share my screen. Yeah. Okay. There we go. I want to just do something for a second. I'll show you these. There's two things, and they are radically different. I'm not going to show the entire thing, by the way, but I'll just show opening, and then I'm going to show another one, which is fascinating. But let me just do this one quickly.
Let's get this party started.
And it's moving slow, of course.
Well, you couldn't actually call them a team. No communication and nothing getting done. That's what I was facing as the leadership team said, fix this and you'll be a miracle worker. So I did. But it's not easy. We currently have 5 generations in the workforce with very diverse.
All right, let me just move back to here for just a second. Okay, I'm going to move past this. Can you see this as well? Can you all see this? Okay.
Yes.
Now, this is a radically different video. It's radically different.
Hey, baby. Such a sweet puppy.
I don't see anything.
Yeah, I don't think anything's changed, Chuck.
Yeah,
Pardon?
it seems paused, maybe.
I think that's your desktop picture.
Sorry. Okay, hold on a second. Dang. Stop share. Let's try sharing one more time. It ain't gonna take long. This one will not take long.
That's right. It's not there.
It's a little bit shorter.
Probably
All right.
about I'd say maybe an inch shorter.
And
Can
it's
you
not
see
here.
this or not?
I wonder if I could order it.
Because it
Can y'all
shows
see
it.
that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Yeah.
That video is 22 seconds. That is her demo video. It's fascinating. I sent 20 videos out to meeting professionals, association execs who hire speakers. I sent 20 different speaker videos out and I said, tell me which ones you would consider and rank them. And so I'm doing another video on the top 5, but hers made the top 5. The fascinating thing is her video is 23 seconds and you never hear her say a word. And they loved it. They thought it rocked because it is radically different than what you would normally see. Now, most of us, all of us, I don't have the guts to do that myself. I'm just going to tell you I don't, because I still think people want to hear you speak on a stage, but those are 2 different videos and both of them are getting traction because of the pace. The first one didn't show at the normal speed that it would because we're on a Zoom call and it just didn't want to do that, but you get the idea. I'll quit with that.
Hey, Chuck, is that a link that you can share, or if that's private for them only?
What, Sally's? Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get the link to Sally's. I'm just fascinated, frankly, by it.
Yeah.
Let me go back
What
over
about
here.
the other one? I met her in Charlotte.
Yes,
Could you post hers also, or their websites or whatever?
yes, I'll be happy to do that. That did not want to copy.
One of the
Anyway, y'all
things-
keep talking and we'll go.
Yeah. For me, one of the things I've always found helpful with anything in my business is to study what's out there with other speakers that I feel connected to. Not necessarily the same style, but just watching other great demo videos, looking at other websites, looking at other speaker marketing materials, right? And I can learn a lot. Plus, I've always been able to share, hey, here with my video editor, hey, I really like this that you'll see in this video at the timestamp of blank. I like how they did that, right? I kind of give them some ideas. But
Yep.
that would be something I'd reckon for all of us is like kind of what we're doing right here with Chuck's, some of his clients, but also with you. Just who are some speakers that you really, really like their demo video, and just study it, study the heck out of it, watch it with over and over, take notes, watch it.
Party started.
Sorry.
Watch it without the video, so you're only listening to it. Watch it with the video or the audio off, where you're just watching it. I mean, you see that we'll learn so much by studying other people's videos who've already invested a lot of money in it. So you don't have to recreate the wheel all the time. Cool. Yeah, look at the chat. Look at the chat, y'all. You've got some of the links, specific links there. I put together this, and would love for us to chat a little bit too about, hey, what are some of those elements that are inside a good demo? This is just some thoughts I put together this morning. I'm actually going to write a blog about this because there are a lot of people that don't have demo video yet, or it's pre-pandemic and they can't wear the same clothes, or like me, they got a little bit of hair that's not so much there anymore. But I think a hook opening, a strong opening that grabs attention to what Chuck mentioned. I like it's as long as it's not distracting. I like a little bit of music weaved in, kind of just help create the mood. I'm a big fan of multiple clips. That way, if I'm a meeting planner or a planning committee, right? I want it to be obvious that this wasn't just one speech the speaker did. If I can show multiple clips, it's like, wow, okay, this is what this person does for a living. Even video testimonials and even written testimonials in there. That's stuff the video editor can do. Probably the biggest thing for me is I want to show people these videos of me have an audience in them. There is a purpose to go into a studio too. One of my demo videos, I kind of did a mix of that, right? Where I was talking to the camera, and then embedded in between was videos of me in action, some graphics, like pictures, even logos, things like that, and a strong power close, all within and under 3 minutes, which is a lot to do, y'all. But experts know how to help you with that, which is, we got Chuck here with us today. What other elements? Anything else that would go into a good demo video, just element wise?
Hey, Kevin, let me just throw a comment in on the testimonials. Yeah. It's good to have video testimonials. If I had a preference, I actually prefer the written testimonial on the screen, because oftentimes the video testimonial, people blabber on and you don't have a good cut. Yeah. So if it's a written testimonial, or even if it's a video testimonial, just transcribe it and then truncate it. If they said, Kevin was the most amazing person, I mean, the way he moved on, and they just keep going, you might need 10 words on the screen somebody can read. They said it, you just truncated it so that it becomes powerful, as opposed to a big blabber of just content, which can off-put people.
Love that. Yeah, that's a great point. Chuck, I see a comment by Larice that brings up a good point about demo videos now because of the virtual reality. Should we have a separate demo for just virtual, or do you think we can embed virtual within a demo that has both in-person and virtual or remote delivery? How would you do that with somebody right now, Chuck? Or what would you advise them to do?
Well, I think in today's environment, in the midst of pandemic, it was important to show virtual. Today, that's not as critical. I would probably show virtual, but I would embed it in my regular presentation, just because, and look, it's real simple. You just take it at green screen, you have a item on a desktop or whatever it happens to be. You literally create the virtual experience, because oftentimes the real virtual experience isn't as exciting as what you would create or you would want people to see.
Yeah, good. Because I like hearing you say that, because just where we're at now, like if it was during the pandemic, yeah, I mean, going back to the future, it probably would have been good to have a special one to showcase that. But now I think we can embed it in there. So we're
Yeah.
not having to create more than one demo. Good.
I
What
say
other
something?
elements? Maurice, yeah.
Yeah, so I just encourage everyone to look at stands. I actually, I disagree actually, because watching stands, you know, from not having created a demo, but I actually, and then you look at his calendar and he's got live here, you know, he shows you where he is for the next 30 days, and there's, you know, live at, you know, someplace, and then virtual, live, virtual. And so he's really showing that people can hire him virtually. And I think they're really significantly different videos. And so I just encourage people to look at those and see. I think he did a good job. I think it really says, oh, I can deliver virtually, you know, right at the top. So, and it's a very different experience. You see his virtual studio, you see his, like Kevin has, you know, so I think it's powerful.
Money or anyone else's.
Yeah. Chuck, I think you just found stands. You mind posting that link? Or Larice, can you? I think it'd be good for folks just to see it. I know. Well, and if you don't know Stan Phelps, he's a former NSA president. He's a doer. He's out there. He's a hustler and a really good dude. So great resource to watch. Other elements, I just jotted down a few. By no means is this all inclusive. Anything else you all think would be good in a demo, or what you've seen?
Let me throw this up real quick. This is part of Meredith Elliott Powell's video, and I'm going to a certain point because two things are interesting about hers. Every word you hear her say is talking directly to the meeting professional. You actually never hear her say a word on stage, but just watch this portion.
Geez, my formula into place in my own business. And I implemented this formula step by step. And I am happy to report in just 6 weeks, I completely turned my business around. And in 6 months, I realized 2020 will be an even better year than 2019. Now, I share that because these strategies work. No matter the size of your business, the products you sell, or the customers you serve.
Now, the reason I shared that is, her entire video is talking to the meeting planner. It was literally shot in a chair. All of the video was her speaking on stage, but you never see her say a word. And the virtual part, it went from her talking to all of a sudden you see her in a studio where she would virtually be presenting. I'm looking right now at, thinking about everybody that's here. Kevin, like where you are right now, that could be that. And then there was the part where there's the laptop and you see her on the laptop. So the imagery is, I can do this. But the consolidation of it is, I'm not limited to it either way. I'm delivering a message. How you want the message is entirely up to you. I'll work in whatever your format is.
Yeah. Yeah, excellent. I like, Colin, I like what you wrote too. An element in a demo video. Yeah, show a collage. Show some of the clients that you've worked with. My logo collage. I mean, there's so many groups I've spoken to y'all over the years, pro bono, highly discounted, whatever, just to get their logo. I'm like, JetBlue had no budget for me, but they paid me in flight vouchers. I was like, I don't care. Like,
sweet.
I want JetBlue. I want that logo. I want Toshiba. I want, only the meeting planner, whoever is bringing us in, and us, we're the only two people that know if we got paid or not.
I can add to that. Somebody asked about getting. Oh shoot, I forget the question now. I have the answer, but I can't remember the question.
Was it my question about
anyway,
when they're hiring you and how you asked them to film there? Was that the question?
Yes, that was it. Larice, am I saying that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a great strategy too, is do it for free and get them to film it. And so that's the payment. And it really is, in the long run, going to create so much more value than one speech. So or one paycheck. So that's a strategy too, is I'll do this for free for you. Here's what it usually costs, whatever, but I'll do it for free if you'll film it. And that, I mean, that footage is super valuable.
I have a question on that because I did that before and I didn't do my due diligence and the videographer was terrible.
Uh-oh.
So if you do that deal, like how do you ethically say, and if they'll do it, like do you suggest maybe you already have someone that you like or someone you, because I just blindly said great, and actually I still got paid but just a tiny bit, so I discounted it and I couldn't use any of it.
Do you mind if I take this, Kevin?
Swing, go for it.
Swing. Okay. Yeah. You can, I really recommend, I call it be a diva to one person. You be a diva to that behind the scenes, the tech person or whoever. I think you can really create a list of here are the things I'm looking for. You talk with them one-on-one. And so they may not think you're the coolest because you might be really controlling it, but that's what gets you to the value. And then the audience doesn't see that side. And I think that's great learning that you took what was offered. And I will say, I try to get people to do photographs. And I will say, please don't have a teacher who has a camera do it. I want somebody who has good quality in this. And then at some point I let it go, but I make sure I've asked for maybe ask for something they've filmed before so you can kind of see what they got. But I think that works for me.
No, I
Does that
really
help?
appreciate that. I mean, it was a lesson learned. It was not too long ago, but maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. But I still look at it sometimes, and I try. I'm like, is there anything? Can I smush? Like, what can I do with this? And I just say nothing. Absolutely nothing.
It is, I think we all know this, how painful it is to watch ourselves on video, or at least I'll speak for me. It is painful. Like I usually have a cocktail or 3. But all I'm doing for that 1 hour, and look, for me too, y'all, I'm more of a keynoter. I'm more of a 60-minute keynote, right? I can do half day, full day trainings, but 80% of my business plus is keynotes. So with that in mind, if it's a 60-minute speech, all I'm going for is a 5 to 10 second clip of something. If I get more than that, good. But if I get that 5 to 10 second, and I might have to go through a whole keynote. I only get that one, but I'm like, I got it. Good.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's
Kevin,
painful.
can I
It's
jump
painful.
in? This is Jane.
Hey, Jane. Yeah.
I might have missed this. I'm sorry, I had to go off for a sec, but it's such a crapshoot. I hate to say it like that, but these people convince you they know what they're doing, and you tell them specifically everything, and it still doesn't work. I've had that happen so many times. Sometimes I've heard a suggestion from my peers, call up a community college or a college that has a major in film and set up a 2-camera shoot or a 3-camera shoot, or just get a professional crew in. I keep saying Chuck, but Chuck's done a lot of great things for a lot of people in NSA. But you need to know someone who knows what they're doing. You could get great footage and crummy sound, lighting just horrible. And it is just painful to get good footage. And if you don't get good footage, they're going to judge you on your bad footage. So y'all might have already said that, and I apologize if I'm repeating.
Quote Jane on that. If you don't have good footage, they'll judge you on the bad, right?
Well, one of the things, let me just throw out is, because a lot of people will call and say, I'm in, I don't know, Santa Fe, and I've got an event and I need to get it videoed. How do I do that? Let me make the first suggestion. Before you even think about bringing somebody into the event to film it, ask them what they're spending. Well, it may not be spending. Let me just rephrase this. This is amongst friends here. But the question, what's your AV budget? What's the backdrop? Because if you go in and the only thing you've got is a stage in a big hotel room and there's a painted wall behind it with a door and they've got no curtains, no lighting, no nothing, don't waste your money. It's just not worth it. So unless you know what it's going to look like, if you're thinking about bringing somebody in, find that out first. Because the worst thing that happens is you bring somebody in and you spend money to get something videoed and the lighting totally sucks and the backdrop is weak. And as Jane says, you're judged on it. And then you've got nothing out of that footage you can pull on because there's nothing that makes it look stunning. Right. So it's a great idea. The other thing I'll also say is, if nothing else, take your iPhone, put it on a little 3-pronged tripod on the very front row on a table, especially if it's round tables, but just set it there and have it angled up toward you so that they're kind of that upward look of the speaker, because you're looking for 10 seconds of video. You're not looking for the whole hour. You just need 10 seconds of stunning. So, if you've got 2 or 3 iPhone 14s, I know the 15 just came out, so the 14 will be discounted now, but I promise you, this is as good as some of the $10,000 cameras I have. We will literally do video shoots now with iPhone 14 Pro Maxes and have no hesitation whatsoever. It's amazing what you can get. Yeah. So.
Y'all, I carry this tripod here. I think it was $20 on Amazon. I carry this with me every speech I go. In fact, I might even take 2. This can fit in my suitcase. To Chuck's point, I don't care if there could even be a video production team already. I'm still going to, this is part of my checklist, right? Yep. I put my phone on it. I've gotten some incredible shots of the audience because I might put this facing the audience because that might be the only shot of the audience that I can get because all the other cameras are going toward me.
Yep.
I see a question about releases, about do we need to get, if we're doing videography or, collecting video, do we need to get that? Chuck, I'd love your take on that. I am a pray for forgiveness versus ask for permission guy. And in I would say the 50 plus presentations that I've actually recorded, and there's probably many, many more, I've never once, again, this is just a tripod. Now, I've never had somebody say, oh, never, I've never had it. Now, granted, some of you have also seen, if you look at the chat, some of you might work, I do keynotes. So there's 50, 500 people plus in the audience. Maybe it's because I'm a fly on the wall with this and they don't see it. If it was a smaller, more intimate training, or maybe, that might depend. But I did actually have that the other day where I decided not to record because it was only 25 people and the room, it just felt a little awkward to do it that way. So anyway, those are some thoughts that I've got on how to collect video. And look, just a few other ones. I just put together another slide. Hey, here's some great ideas how to get footage. You got to speak, y'all. And as we've already talked about, a good demo video, it's a project. Once Chuck, I'd love your insight on, or any other thoughts on how often do we need to put a new demo out? But it's not something I feel we need to do every 6 months, right? That one demo video could last you a year or 3, depending, right? I mean, we want to look like our demo, right? But this is a project. So once we build it, it's a long game approach. Once we get all the stuff that we need, it can really leverage us for an extended period of time. But we got to be speaking. I would recommend we always record too. Record every single time that you possibly can. I love Chuck's idea. You might have an old phone sitting somewhere too. Bring that one too. I add speaking as a clause to all my contracts. This is huge for a couple reasons. Number one, it lets them know I'm agreeable to it. Because there are a lot of speakers out there that for some stupid reason, their ego gets in the way and they say, well, I don't approve of my blah, 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 blah. Like, seriously? Like, I give them the idea to record me half the time. They're like, oh, wow, we didn't know our last speaker did not allow that. So thank you for letting us know that guess what's the one thing I asked for? If I know that they are going to record it, guess what I asked for? A copy, right? And to Chuck's point, know your venue, because if you invest money, right, to bring in an on-site videographer or a team to capture you, and the lighting sucks, the venue is just not conducive, that you need to know that in advance. Now, I would imagine as professional speakers, we're having a final, I call it I've called it a happy call. It's a call, a week or two before the actual presentation, but I also have other calls, but I call them just touch points. But we should know what our venue is going to be prior to showing up. We should know that. And I have an event next week, for example. It's at the downtown Wilmington. Actually, Chuck, you're speaking at it too. We're both speaking at the NC SHRM event, and I'm the closing keynote. And I know that they're going to have multiple projection screens. I know it's going to be an audience of over 500. And I know they're going to have people projecting me on the screen. And I've already asked them about permission to basically, the videographer, if they're projecting me on the screen, could they maybe hit a button that says record to actually record it while they're doing it? And I'm still going to have this. And catch this, one last thing and I'll shut up. Every speech I go to, I always carry an external hard drive. And the reason I do that is because when they capture video, I want it then.
Yeah.
I don't want to wait 2-3 weeks because I may not ever get it.
Yep. Yeah,
So
Kevin, one of the things that I would say, and it's addressing 2 or 3 things kind of all squished together. One, in my contract, it always says, I reserve the right to record my session. And I've only had 2 people that have said, no, you can't do that. But my contract says I reserve the right to be able to do that. I also, in the contract, reserve the right to be able to use their logo. So most people aren't going to read the freaking contract. If they don't, State Farm, for example, you can't use the logo, you can't take a picture in front of the building, and it's like, you people are wound tight. Okay, I will take your money. I can't use the logo, wah. But I'm giving myself permission to record it. I'm giving myself permission to use the logo because it's part of the contract. I agree 100% with Kevin. If they're recording and you're nice to the AV people, there's a pretty good chance if you've got a hard drive, a 2 terabyte hard drive that you can give to them and they can plug in, more times than not, they'll just go ahead, plug it in, give you the video, let you walk away with it. It's not edited. You don't care. It's just captured content. The other thing that I'll say is, Kevin, I have to fall into your camp. I'm a little like you. If I've got an iPhone somewhere and I'm capturing audience, I don't really worry too much about it. It's a generic audience shot that lasts for 2 seconds where they're smiling or doing something. But I do let the meeting professional know if I'm recording, if they have an issue, I will make sure that I'm recording from the back so you only get the backs of heads. So therefore there is no identifying face if it's an issue. And most of the time, the only places I'll find it's an issue is in healthcare or financial services, or if it happens to be a client that's a government contractor in the military. They get really weird about that stuff.
Hey, can I jump in and make a suggestion I have found that works?
Yeah.
I always put on my contract and my questionnaires that I need the name of the AV guy. I mean, always. And because mine's a little more complicated, but I have found I've gotten some really good footage from going covert with the AV people. And I'll say, you know what, I'm looking for some video. And they'll say, we really aren't shooting. And I'll say, well, do you know of someone who I can pay that knows what they're doing? So the meeting planner, you don't want to upset the meeting planner for the AV guy to go, oh, well, she wants video, so it's going to cost blah, blah. No, that's between me and the AV.
Yep. That again, folks, that's pre-planning. That's as professional speakers, presenters, trainers, however we deliver our content, that's what professionals do. You don't, not that I'm suggesting any of us thought this prior to today, but the more we prepare, the more we know our venue, the more we know our audience, how everything's going to be. It's from the prep. And then you get to have those conversations. And I remember too, when I used to bring in speakers, when I used to work at colleges, it was the speakers who just showed up that I know because I was their point of contact, didn't really put a lot of planning with me, didn't really ask questions to get to know our students and this and that they would just show up and then ask for stuff. Well, can we do this? It was just high maintenance. Yeah. So the more we can do in advance, the more we can they like us before we even get there. And they'll want to help us, to Jane's point. Like, I think that'd be great. So a big takeaway for me was I actually need to do what Chuck does. I need to up my contract language. But in all your speaking contracts, and even I do a contract every time I even do a pro bono engagement. I'm doing another pro bono tomorrow night for this big event. Honored to do it. It's a charity. But even for them, I do a contract. I just waive my fee.
Yeah.
And even that, I put the contract in the video. And guess what they're doing tomorrow? They're doing a video. So, any other thoughts, comments on how to get footage?
Kevin, let me just throw one other idea in. A lot of folks, I want to be crystal clear with this because I'm in NSA Carolinas. I'm not pushing a plug, okay? Just want to be clear. But I will say a lot of us don't have footage on big stages or stages that we want. Do not be afraid to record on green screen and then put you into the stage that you want to be in. Okay? If I say this, if you believe there are dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, you can be put on a big freaking stage. Okay. So, and I don't make this real simple and easy, just to kind of illustrate the point. At Influence, I'm running around with my iPhone, capturing different angles of that big, beautiful stage. It was a gorgeous stage. Now, I want to be on that stage. I wasn't on it, but I would like to be on it. I'd like to show that as an example to a meeting professional that I'm capable of it. I have spoken on those stages and didn't get it recorded because they weren't recording and I didn't hire someone. Okay. So it's not that I'm incapable of it. It's just the reality. I don't have it. So shoot yourself on green screen. And then with the magic of video technology today, put yourself on the stage. I'll take Tim Gard off the stage at NSA Influence. He's gone. And then I can put Kevin on there. And for the 3 to 5 seconds it's seen, the meeting professional is not examining and asking, is that all that real or not? Y'all don't take it the wrong way, but AI is where it's going. Nothing's going to be real. And you don't know when you watch the news what's real. The point to it is to give someone the experience that they want so that they say yes to you. So if you don't have it live, you can create it. Now, some people might disagree, but I will tell you, you'd be shocked at the number of videos out there where there are major speakers who do $20,000, $25,000 speeches where what you see in the video was totally created because they needed that to show the meeting planner and it just didn't exist. Okay, I'll shut up.
Yeah, great insights, Chuck. Brandon, I think I saw your hand pop up.
Yeah, and it's not from my experience, but from my conversations. I had interviewed a speaker. His name's Sean Kanungo. I don't know if you guys know him or not. He speaks on innovation, and he was telling me every city he goes to speak, when he's there, he looks up, hashtag Raleigh videographer and finds someone locally, brings them in, and he does it almost every time. And it sounds crazy, but I can imagine even if I did it once per month, and let's say it was $500 or something, that, having 12 different videos of the places I'm most, excited to speak at, I think that's where we get a little bit like we don't do that step and we wish we had, or we expect that they would have done a good job, to Chuck's point, and then like, oh, it didn't happen, or it didn't come out the way you wanted it to come out.
Yeah.
I have, even as a attendee, I brought a videographer with me and he followed me around. I'm shaking hands with influencers and I said, I'm going to pay you to be with me, and we're going to do a photo shoot while we're here. Like, we're going to go outside, we're going to find an environment, we'll do a photo shoot, and I get, footage of whatever it is. And if it's on the stage, great. I just think not enough. I think we could be doing more to establish, okay, what's my investment in the materials? So, because if you're going to spend, $5,000 on editing something, you might as well spend $5,000 on capturing footage and getting all the stuff you need. That's just my thought. And I'll tell you this, his videos, he's been posting 4 edited speaker reels every month for the past 6 years. It's crazy to me that he posts them as content on YouTube. He could do that because his content changes, because it's about innovation. It's like a new talk all the time. But in your hour talk, you're talking about 10 seconds. there's trains of thought in your talk that are, like you'll have easily 10, 12 trains of thought in your one talk. Each of those could be a reel, and that's how he's been designing. I'm looking at his video is 400,000 views on YouTube, his main speaker reel. And I can imagine when a speaker meeting planner sees a 400,000 view speaker reel and compares it to the 1,000 view speaker reel of most of us, that is noticeable. So I just think that's my, I think when I finally get the speaking gigs I want, that seems like the approach that I'm interested in examining, and I'll share what happens, but that's my thought. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Bonnie Raitt.
That's great.
Let's give them something to talk about, right? I mean, we got to be always thinking of how can I leverage this, use this, just to keep being out there. Chuck is great with that right now with all the videos he's putting out there. Chuck, put it, if you don't mind, put it, and Brandon, if you don't mind putting a link to that video that you just mentioned, but Chuck, put a link too, if you don't mind, to your website or a YouTube page, if you want to, because
Sure.
Chuck, you can see a lot of the stuff that Chuck is doing now and posting is on how to build engagement and followers and subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I will add something.
No, go ahead.
Can I follow Brandon's comment and then kick it to you, Chuck, before I forget? Yeah, cool. I want to reinforce that, Brandon. That's really good. Number one, if you can get a sort of a quick of a bunch of different speeches in different locations with different outfits, that's a huge credibility right there, even if it's 3. So that, I love that idea. And then number 2, if you don't have 400,000 views, you can trick that by post it on YouTube and post it on Vimeo. And on Vimeo, you can hide the views, and that can be the one you share. And maybe you just throw the YouTube one out there just to let it build, but at least the Vimeo will hide that. If it's 3 views, it's hard, that works against you. So you can hide that.
It's an interesting point.
That's it. Yeah.
So on the topic of capturing video, in case anybody is curious, how much would it cost if I did hire somebody, hired a team, and I guess this all depends on scope of work. Is it 1 camera angle? Is it 2? Is it 2 people, 3 people? I'm a big fan of multiple camera angles. And they can do a static camera on a tripod. Then they could have, and I would do this if it was all the other things we talked about. Check, check, check. Good audience, good lighting. This is a venue that I really want to capture. This is going to be worth it. So this is an investment in my business, right? What kind of investment does that look like? And even to have a roam person, have a good videographer, they are going to do the things that I heard mentioned before, where they're going to walk around a little bit. They're going to follow you. They're going to do they're going to pull people and do the work for you where, hey, do you mind doing a quick testimonial real quick, right? The people that are waiting in line to chat with you. They'll do all that for us. And that is golden, right? But let's say it's a 2 or 3 camera angle shot. And let's say it's only video capture. So it's no editing, it's only raw footage capture, right? And of course, if you're doing that, you need to have it professionally edited, right? But we'll talk about that lastly. What are some ranges? And Chuck, what do you think? And for others too, I mean, I'll share what I've typically paid when I've done this, but what do we think we're looking at if we have a 2 or 3 camera angle video capture on site for somebody who's local in that area? What do we kind of think that's going to cost?
Okay, well, from my perspective, the first question is, am I setting up 3 cameras static, left side, right side, center, they sit, they don't move, there's no following, I'm just capturing what's taking place? Because if that's the case, 1 person can do it, it's $500-ish. But if you are thinking about, I want to have a 3 camera shoot, I'm going to call the back angle is like that's the establishing shot. Here's the big stage. Look how beautiful the stage is. But the people on left or right are moving, and they're literally following Kevin as he's moving across the stage. So we get that flow in that motion. Now, all of a sudden, you have 2 people in addition to the cameras that are set up. And probably that's going to be $1,000 to $1,500. It's about what a wedding videographer is going to charge to come in and to do that. I do agree with something Jane said, and that is the best way you may be able to get it done is to approach the local community college or the local college and find out if there's someone in the media department that's a kid who wants to be able to work their resume, make some dollars because they're going to be cheaper, and they want to be able to take the footage and perhaps use the footage as part of their reel that said, look at the kind of work that I've done. And you can get some, get some kids to come in and they're pretty good because they're thinking different angles and what can I do? Because not only are they looking for you, they're looking for how do I build my reel and my body of work.
Yeah. Who else has hired somebody to come on site, and what did they do and how much? I've done this a couple times, and I've been between with one person who's a roamer, like who's following me, they're and another two cameras that were static. Thing is, when I speak, I'm what an AV person calls a walker, like Texas Walker, like because I tell them, hey, don't. I go up to them prior to and thank them in advance. Like I'm talking about the videography people. If I know it's like one of those setups, like projection, like a larger audience, I'll specifically just say, hey, I just want to give you a heads up. I'm what you might call a walker. I don't stand behind the lectern. Because guess what? Most of the other presenters that day, guess what they're doing? They're standing behind a lectern. So that videographer's like, okay, once I get the shot, I'm good. I can just watch. I'm like, nah, you're gonna have to follow me. Like I'm gonna be down in the audience. I'm gonna be on this side of the stage, this side of the stage. And I always have them come up to me afterward and be like, yeah, thanks for letting me know that. And that's why the static ones don't really work that well for me, because then it's a far out shot. But I've usually invested anywhere between $750 to $1,500 because if I'm gonna do on site, I'm doing multiple. I want to have two people there.
Yeah,
it's got to be worth it.
Can I jump into something that triggered, and Chuck can testify to this? Some of us are under the impression that we have to look like we're bigger than life and on these massive stages, but not every person that hires you is looking for a massive stage. So don't shy away from those intimate folks in a smaller setting too. Let them see that you are diversified enough. You can do the big stage and you can do the intimate group. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah.
That's worth $1 million. Thank you, Jane. Great.
And Kevin, you said you're a walker. Okay. So Kevin says, remember, he said, plan it, right? So if you've got somebody videoing you, look at the lighting in the room, because Kevin may walk to the back of the room to interact with the audience, but he needs to make sure at some point when he's walking where there's light, because he wants to be illuminated. It's great that they captured him walking to the back of the room, but if the lighting sucks, that's not the clip you're likely going to use. So you think about, okay, here's a table of 8 people. They're all engaged and the light in the room is shining down on them. I need to talk with them just for video purposes, so that the clip, whether I hear what Kevin says or not, doesn't make a difference. I need to see the interaction and it needs to be illuminated well.
Yeah, and to your point too, Chuck, like if it's a larger kind of audience venue where it's lighting, and I know if I go down in the audience, I'm not in the lighting, people can't see me. So if I do that, I do it just for a little like, whoa, who's this guy? But then I know I'm out of sight by most people, and video and photography. So then I get back to the stage as quick as I can.
Yep.
So I always assess that in my head. All right, because I'll be out of shot.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, want to value people's time. One more slide I thought would be helpful, because okay, you know what's in a good video, right? You're out there speaking, you're collecting it, right? You know ways of capturing it, whether you have to pay for it or you leverage it with your contracts, and or you do it yourself, right? All the above is what I'd recommend. Now it's about, okay, I've got this footage. What the heck do I do with it? And these are just some things I typed up to thought, hey, this is what I've done. On the editing side, to produce this video under 3 minutes, and by the way, I like what Chuck said, have one under 3. I even used to have a 1 minute one as well. In fact, we saw a sample from Chuck today. It was 22 seconds. So I would encourage us to consider having 3. One that's really short, like less than a minute. One that's a 3-minute one, which would typically be maybe your most viewed demo. And then I like to have what I call a highlight reel, where it's a little bit more meat on the bone in case they want to see me not edited, but let's see some clips of Kevin actually presenting. And that gives me, and I like that one to be about a 10-minute. I've done this a few times where I'm just, the best 1 minute clip here, best 1 minute clip here, 1 minute clip here, different audiences, put it all together. That's only for people that are going to want to have a little bit more, a little homework on me as they're selecting a speaker. Maybe it's because they got burned by the last speaker, right? But anyway, I always hire somebody to do my editing. I would never try to do this myself. My first video was horrible because I didn't have the money. I did what I had to do. But looking back, I missed out on so many engagements because that video was not good. So it's worth every penny with video editing. Timestamp yourself as well. I know speakers that they give a USB drive, or they download Dropbox or whatever to the video editor, and they give them like 10 hours of video without telling the editor, hey, here are the clips that I want. And that's just so much more time for the editor, and they're now in control of the branding. So I personally have always been obsessed with, here are the timestamps that I want. And I even edit those timestamps out for them. I use Adobe Premiere just to cut the clips. And I remember one video editor quoted me for a project. He was going to do the 3 videos. I think it was like $3,500 just for editing. When I gave him everything timestamped, he didn't expect that. And they said, this isn't a project as big as we thought. We actually can do it for about $1,500 because you've actually done a lion's share of the work. We don't have to watch all these hours of video footage and wonder and then cut it. And that's where I would say I use the word storyboard it. Think about how they write a cartoon or a movie, right? Think about how you want your opening to be. Is there music? What's the visuals there? What's, kind of storyboard it out so and have a sense how you can explain it to your video editor, at least your vision for what you want to do. So those are just some thoughts I have. So what do y'all think? Add on to that. What do you think once you got your footage? How do you get to that end result?
Kevin, I would first say, if anybody's going to do a demo video, script the entire thing. Before you worry about the clips. It's not about the clips. What is the message? Because if the clips are showcasing you and there's no message and they don't know what problem you're solving, you're disqualified. Because they're looking for a solution to a problem. Now, the problems can be varied. But what problem are you solving so you can help the meeting professional? And one other thing, Brendan, I think you said it was like, some dude that had 400,000 views on his site, and he talks about innovation. One thing I would also say is, what is your fee point? What's your price point? And then whatever it is, that look at in that price point, who are your competitors? Because let's be candid. I am never going to compete with Scott McCain. Scott's a $25,000 speaker. Yeah, I love the man, but he's going to be considered for things that I will never be considered for. And that's okay. If I'm a $10,000 ethics speaker, then I need to know who are the ethics speakers out there and what's their fee. And if somebody's 25,000 and they went to Dartmouth and they've got 3 PhDs, I may not be a competitor. That's okay. But if I know I'm a 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever it is, find your competitors in your niche and then see what their videos are, because they may have turns of phrases, or they may spark an idea that will help you be competitive, because those are the people you're competing against. And it all starts with scripting it in the first place, so you know what's the message you're delivering.
Can I jump in on that too, Chuck? I'm sorry, I'll stop. You know, I just, and I'm going to talk about Chuck. I'm sorry, Chuck, but it's true. I spent 2 days with Chuck, and we did YouTube shorts, and he put in AI what I wanted to say, and I changed it up a little bit. But I did 170 YouTube shorts with Chuck, and I'm just saying, whomever you go to, that's a huge platform to have YouTube shorts. It's just, you know, you saying a little something, and the videographer that Chuck worked with, and you know, whomever you want to work with, they put in some fun graphics, and I'm getting more traction from those little YouTube shorts. And I just wanted to, you know, push that out there because that's another component to this. So I've worked with a lot of people in the past, and I love the innovation of YouTube shorts. Finished? Are you waiting on?
Jane, how do we connect and see some of those YouTube shorts? Are they linked
You can
from
go
your
to
website?
you can go to my YouTube channel and
Yeah.
just look, you know, under shorts. And then I'm doing a lot of live too, but I'm doing Jeannie's show. I just want to say too, if anybody wants to see some really good interviews, like Lou Heckler, who's a humor coach, I'm having all kinds of interesting people. Kay Francis was on last week. She talked about her comedy. It's just fun, and it's just to see innovation that other people are doing. So y'all welcome to look at the streams. Got that? Anything I've got. And let me tell you, I'm still building my channel, and I'm mad at myself that I don't have it up and running better. But Chuck's helped me a lot, and I'm not, you know, he's just great to work with, and we're just good friends. But I work with a lot of people, and I appreciate Chuck's creativity and his, Lord have mercy, his patience with me.
Hey, Kevin, one thing, let me do this real quick, and this may be helpful. I decided this year that I was going to actually embrace my channel. So the 28th of December, I post a video a day. Now, some of them, sure enough, are shorts, okay? But let me see if I can move this for just a moment. But if I look, come on, just quickly, come here. It doesn't want to work for me here today. The internet in my office is slow today, which is really irritating. Anyway, I've picked up, 34,000 subscribers. The subscriptions are going crazy at this point in time. And if it'll make the move, it doesn't seem to want to. The point becomes, I went from probably 2,000 subscribers to a little over 40 some odd thousand. Well, I've got 51,000 subscribers right now. But the point to that is, it is not just the demo video that gets me sold. It is content on a consistent basis each and every day. And if that is a 37-second short on YouTube, if nothing else, it is consistent content that is relevant to whatever it is that I happen to be talking about. And because of that, it makes it a whole lot easier to be found and to be selected. So I really think it's important to think about, yes, my demo has to be what is important for people to see. That may be the foundation, but the cake, the whole thing that they get to eat is lots and lots and lots of content. And it doesn't have to be hard. Every short I shoot is with an iPhone. No separate mic, no nothing. It's just me and the iPhone literally reading it off of a teleprompter. So don't assume that it has to be hard.
Wow. Awesome insights. Hey, before we forget, if any of you would find value to keep the conversation going and maybe form a small group, whether it's for accountability, support, idea sharing, all the above, post your email in the chat. That way, somebody else who wants the same, y'all can connect. This is where it's a little organic. It's a little self, organization here. NSA Carolinas really can't facilitate that for you. But if you want that, just post your email in the chat and then see who else posted in the chat. And I'd encourage you all to connect on your own and figure out, what does this look like? How do we help each other? But no, thank you. Yeah, cool. Oh, awesome. We got several people here. Any other comments, questions? Anything you want to get out of today?
Kevin, one of the things that you had on the list was sharing, and we haven't touched really on how do you share, where do you share, who do you give your videos to, and what are some ways for promoting it?
Ooh. Yeah. We can all swing at that. Who wants to start there?
Hey, I'll take a quick swing. I promote all the videos I put all the videos on YouTube. So as your subscriptions grow, more people get the video because it's just naturally kind of pushed out if they want to see it. But secondarily, every week on Tuesday at 10 a.m., I send out an email blast to my email list. And most of the time, not every time, but most of the time, I'm going to put one of the videos on there that is created. It is not the demo video. It is just a video relative to the topic that's at hand. And what that's done is that's caused then people to see the videos. So my usage goes up and the number of people subscribing goes up. And it forces me to think, okay, I've got to do 52 videos.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I post I have a demo video page on my website where I've got multiple videos. I've got other videos on there too, like my Price is Right video. But I also have this is counter to what my website person said. I'm actually in the process of updating my website too. I said, hey, if people miss my demo video page, I want to make sure my demo video is one of those banners that automatically plays when people visit my site as like a header banner. So I don't want to risk anybody not seeing my demo page. So my video is also in 2 or 3 places on my website, and it's on my email signature. And that way it's easy. I save it as a bookmark too. And anytime I'm communicating with the prospect, I want to make sure that, I link to it as well and say, hey, if you'd like to talk more about your event or submit information, visit my website here, and you can watch a sample. My most popular demo video is here. And it's a link, hyperlink. How else do you all share your video? Any other ideas that we didn't talk about?
Let me just make a comment. Sorry, I don't want to dominate this, but if you're sharing your video on Facebook, share it organically. In other words, don't share a YouTube link. Facebook doesn't like Google. Google owns YouTube. So just upload your MP4 to Facebook. And if you're uploading your video to LinkedIn, do the same thing. Upload the MP4 to LinkedIn, because LinkedIn's owned by Microsoft, and Microsoft doesn't like Google, and Google and Microsoft don't like Facebook. So they don't play well together. So when you put your YouTube link and you think you've done something, they just got an and will not promote you.
So much to think about. Oh, if we can only just speak, right? Hey, I hope you all found value today. I mean, these are what the SIGs are all about. They're not designed to be workshops. They're designed to help people working in a specific area of their business. So while we've got Brandon here, Brandon, you want to tell us a little bit about your podcast SIG coming up?
You tell me. What do you want me to talk about on this? I don't know. It's going to be a lecture for 67 minutes about the ins and outs of audio recording.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I was.
Could it be longer?
Yeah, I was curious to tune in today to see like how these formats work, and it seems like it's very collaborative and everyone kind of giving their thoughts. So I'm happy to just be like Chuck did today, a voice, another voice of experience in the room. But however you want to run it, I'm happy to work.
Yeah, today I actually it hit me earlier in the week. I was like, crap, I never asked Chuck to actually lead this conversation. So I felt bad when I asked him. I was like, could you at least join us? The whole point is this is kind of just groupthink it, mastermind it, no set agenda other than, hey, let's talk about it and share ideas. But the podcast, when Brandon is the guy, he's one of the masters at it. So he'll probably share a little bit more, some tips and some things, but open it up to group questions and thought.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to ask beforehand, and this is random for the group, sorry, but just how many people, when we reach out to the group that say yes, how many people already have one versus how many are considering starting one. I think knowing the group would
Okay.
change the conversation.
I'll add those two distinct defined questions. Great comment. I'll add those two questions to the registration page.
Yeah. Do you already have a podcast? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Well, hey, thank you all. Y'all make it a great day. We'll post this recording too. And Chuck, appreciate you and your insights. Folks, look at the chat real quick. I'll leave it up just for a moment. See who else posted their email there. That's about community. We can facilitate community. So honored that you're part of NSA Carolinas. We'll see you soon. Take care, y'all.